السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear رياض الصالحين second year secondary, and welcome back to a new lesson. Your teacher is Mr. Saber Azam. Today's lesson is Unit 6, Going Green, Vocabulary and Reading, page 87 and 88. To get started, we should learn about the aims of the lesson. And the aims of this lesson is reading a passage and learning new vocabulary. Reading a passage and learning new vocabulary. In vocabulary building, number 7, you will see these words in the reading on page 88 and 89. Match the words with their meanings. Match the words with their meanings. And to be able to do this exercise, we should read and understand the two columns. Let's read the first column. Number 1, relying, utility, bold, committed, prospect, harsh, enormous, sacrifice. These are the words in the first column. Let's move to the definitions in the second column. Letter A, loss of something for a specific purpose. Letter B, extremely large. Letter C, dedicated. Letter D, basic service supplied by business or facility such as electricity or running water. Letter E, depending on. Letter F, strong and courageous. Strong and courageous. Letter G, a way of seeing something. Way of seeing something. And letter H, severe and difficult. Severe and difficult. So, when we go to number 1, that's rallying. Rallying means depending on. Depending on. Then rallying means depending on. Let's move to number 2, that is utility. What is utility? Utility is the basic service supplied by a business or facility such as electricity or running water. Let's move to number 3, that is bold. Bold means strong and courageous. Strong and courageous. Number 4, committed means dedicated. Committed means dedicated. Let's move to number 5, prospect. Prospect means, what does prospect mean? Yes, a way of seeing something. A way of seeing something. Right. Let's move to number 6, that is harsh. Means severe and difficult. And the word enormous is extremely large. Number 8, sacrifice means loss of something for a specific purpose. Loss of something for a specific purpose. After we have learned these 8 words may help us understand the reading. Means that we will have these 8 words in the reading. Before reading, read the passage and underline ways that your country can replace utilities such as electricity, natural gas, and water from the local supply system. Yes. Let's read this passage. Listen and read along the listening. Let's listen.
pages 88 and 89. 8. Reading.
Living off the grid. Imagine heating your home without relying on the local power plant. Wouldn't it feel good to meet your need for electricity without harming the environment? For a growing number of people, these ideas have become reality. Out of concern for the environment and a desire for self-reliance, these people have made the bold decision to live off the grid. What exactly is the grid? The grid, short for the power grid, is the linked system that supplies electricity to most homes and buildings in developed nations. Homes that are off the grid are not hooked up to the local power supply. Instead, they produce all of the energy they consume. As a result, people living off the grid avoid the environmental and financial costs that come with on-grid living. The key to getting off the grid is replacing electricity supplied by a power plant with a renewable energy source, like wind or solar power. Buildings that use solar power have solar panels on the roof or near the building. When the sun's light hits the panels collect the energy. Wind power is collected by turbines, also known as windmills. When the wind blows, the blades move, producing energy which is turned into electricity by a generator. Some people go even further off the grid. In addition to setting up a renewable energy source, they also have an independent source of water. They dig wells to access groundwater or use a cistern, a type of tank, to collect rainwater. Those most committed to living off the grid may even lack garbage service. These people generally live a life that creates very little waste, growing their own organic fruits and vegetables and raising chickens and goats for eggs and milk. By avoiding the consumption of packaged foods, they greatly reduce paper and plastic waste. As challenging as it may be to live off the grid, most off-gridders feel that the benefits far outweigh the difficulties. Jorge and Ella Alvarez, off-gridders in northern Arizona, say, "We love being off-grid. It's definitely hard work, but it puts everything in life into perspective. It's surprising to find just how much you can do without." Many people think we have a harsh and depressing lifestyle. Nothing could be further from the truth. We see living off the grid as a gift that has allowed us to be more in touch with nature and each other. This view is shared by Wendy Johnston, a mother of 3 living off the grid with her family in Ontario, Canada. Wendy recalls, "In the house I grew up in, we would leave lights on all day, the thermostat up at night, and water running without a second thought. I wanted my children to be raised with more respect for the environment and an awareness of the impact that they have on it. My children don't take energy for granted. I love the fact that they are learning how to take care of the earth while at the same time learning to be self-sufficient." Wendy admits that living off the grid has its difficulties. For example, the Johnstons' power usually goes down a few times a year. However, Wendy reflects, "The funny thing is that these often turn out to be some of our best times as a family. The power outages have an unexpected way of bringing us closer together. We read books and play games by candlelight, or we get together and tell stories." Living off the grid entails sacrifices and is certainly not for everyone. But for the thousands of people who have made this bold choice, life off the grid is filled with rewards that can't be matched by the conveniences and luxuries of life on the grid.
Yes, after we have listened to the passage, let's read and answer the questions. What are some public utilities that most of us rely upon? That is electricity, natural gas, and water. Number 2, define the grid. Define the grid. That is in paragraph 2. Yes, the linked system that supplies electricity to most homes and buildings in developed nations. Yes. Number three, how does wind energy work? Wind energy work. Yes. When the wind blows, windmills turn, producing energy, which is turned into electricity by generator. Yes. Number four, what are some reasons people choose to live off the grid? Yes, they have concern for the environment and a desire for self-reliance. Yes. Number five, what are two alternatives to using a public water utility? Yes, a private well or a cistern to collect rain water. Cistern is a kind of tank that collects rain water. Yes. Number six, how could someone reduce his or her waste? Yes, by growing their own fruits and vegetables and raising tending animals for food. That's all for today. Thank you very much for listening. Wishing to see you in another lesson.